lesbians, and what they try to do in these masks is take away your identity. They want to make everybody the same. They want male and female the same. As a Baptist preacher, it's an abomination unto God.
Next speaker.
Next speaker is Kathy Ostrino, The Current Nonsense.
Kathy Ostrino, I don't know how to follow up that. So, I originally wanted to come up here to talk about, the behaviors of the board. I think you remember last time I came up and discussed, we're sitting back here watching you, and I asked if you could, pay attention to your facial expressions, what you're putting out. And I compared it to the clapping that folks were doing back here. That's their emotional response and your emotional response. And tonight, it just spilled over out loud. And I can appreciate that, that there was an apology made twice. I think that's fantastic. But I really want to ask you, because this is almost 18 years old now. I would really love to know that you could take maybe the time to watch the last meeting and watch this meeting and see when you're paying attention to folks and when you're not, when it's not of your interest. Sometimes some aren't paying attention, and when it is, they're intently paying attention. We're watching that, we pick up on it, and it's no different than the clapping or the mocking. No different. That's all. And I just wanna, double down on every, pro-mask choice statement. That'll stand for me too. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Next speaker is Jerry Coffey, and seeking the meeting dates. Apologize if the last name is not right.
Well, good evening. I wasn't planning on speaking, but I just decided to live in the old B section. Been here 8 years. Father, grandfather. What bothers me is full mask mandate, full vaccine thing is choice. That's what we're based on. It's not based on choice. Parents have a choice to have their mask. These people out here who have their mask, they also have that choice. God bless them. God bless the people who choose not to. God bless the people who choose to have that vaccine. God bless the people who don't. As another person said, we have immune systems. They work pretty good. They work pretty good. Garden hoses as a kid, that's the thing to deal with. Your job is curriculum. Our job is protection of our kids. Always have. What you guys need to do is focus on the curriculum. Let the parents focus on their children's health.
The next speaker is, Jamie Parham on masks.
Yes, I had been prepared tonight, so I just wrote this up real quick. I don't have enough time. Okay. First of all, clapping is fine in a meeting after someone speaks. That disrupts nothing. Next, the mask teacher and her fake fear is ridiculous. No matter what we wear or carry, we are the law abiding. That's reserved for the tyrants who choose to break the law of the land. She should be more scared of the government since they have the power of enforcement and not us. Unlike what some have said here tonight, these are real facts. Masks are not proven to do anything for COVID-19. The coronavirus is 0.08 microns in size. A respirator that you have to buy online has 0.4 microns of filtration. If you accept that the virus is airborne, masks are completely irrelevant. If you use the mentality of droplets, it's no different than covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze. Easy to research information is available in city after city showing no difference in infection rate between muzzled cities and free ones. That's the truth, unlike what that Air Force vet spewed. Also, cases are not death. Stop using that garbage metric. there are always cases of colds and deaths, and even in kids before 2020, if you can remember before then. If you actually understood science, you would know that the more the virus circulates, the better off we are. The most common flu right now is H1N1. The leftist branch Covidians are literally the same people who burned down cities, stole our elections, tore down American veterans memorials, and left Americans to die in Afghanistan. But they're right about masks now? No. I want to be clear, so I hope you're listening. If you kowtow to the left to appease these scared sheep with their mask pacifiers, you will be held to account. What will you be accountable for, and what will you be punished for? Easy. Child abuse. Taking away civil liberties, using trumped-up healthcare scams where the disease was created by the same people who made the vaccine. You will be considered part of the masking money-making scheme, the vaccine money-making scheme, and the hospital scheme that's going on right now with the codes for checking in people to admit them with COVID when they don't actually have symptoms. You will break in state law that represents the will of the people. Ron DeSantis is our governor. He made that executive order that applies to everyone. If you impose the will of the communists, you will be considered tyrants, guilty of treason. I just wanted to let you know that. Everyone here is of the same mind. Take care.
Next speaker is Jaden Chavez on masks.
For one, I would like to say to all of you, I go to FPC High School. I represent Bulldogs. The issue here today, as you all look at me, the people around you, look what we've done. We brought the news. We brought all these people here together to show how we feel about these issues. Can we just handle it and get it over with? Or will we have to stand here for months on end deciding on this situation? You guys all took a responsibility, and a very, very hard responsibility. Somewhat, I wouldn't want to do this job, because to have to work with some of the people that are in this room right now, it's just enough. And I support Governor Ron DeSantis. I believe that what he has done for our state is fantastic. And I support America. I support what truly we have to say. All the people around you here today had something to say, or they were just here to say it. I thank you all so much. And I am so proud of both of you that are up here today. You guys are doing an amazing job. Thank you guys so much.
The next speaker is Nicole Rio on motivational speakers.
This is what we're talking about. It's time to, we're all here together, and I'm gonna shut this off. But anyways, I was the mascot for my high school, and it was my job to entertain 1,200 people, to be uplifted, to get the crowd going for what? To get the football players pumped so they could win that game. So that's what I'm here today, to prove to you all that I'm gonna win this game, no matter what it takes for all of our community. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, we're here to win, together. We need to stop this. We all need to come together, because our kids are seeing this. We're bringing them down, and we're not teaching them nothing by sitting in the same spot. We're showing them that fear is controlling us. So when we allow fear to take over in our mind, we can't step forward. That's what our children are learning, and that's what I'm about to tell you guys today. Yeah, that's what I do. Anyways, I'm gonna say this, not just to the school board, but thank you everyone for just doing what you're doing. The job is hard. God bless you too for just being a good listener, because that's where it starts, to listen, okay? And then you use your choices by then, okay? But anyways, my name is Nicole Rio. I appreciate you listening with your hearts, because this is very important to me, okay? I'm not sure if you heard about Mark Merrow. Mark Merrow is a former WWE wrestler, CEO, champion of choices here in the state of Florida. Mark speaks at schools all over the country, who now does virtual presentations due to COVID, which is sad, because he used to go to all the schools and speak and listen to all the kids that were hurting, for those, the teachers that couldn't take on all the children and couldn't listen to them because there's not enough to listen to the children that are hurting, which is sad. So anyways, Mark receives hundreds of letters from these children who suffer from isolations, loneliness, depression, anxiety, yes, even thoughts of suicide. I personally believe Mark Merrow can give our community hope, as we are constantly hearing of after-school fights from local middle schools and seeing videos on social media of students experiencing drugs, and I have seen it, and it's very sad. I remember asking Flagler County Schools in 2015, can we please bring motivational speakers to our schools? It was a kind of a cry for help, because what I was seeing on children's social media at the time. But not once did I receive a phone call back, or a comment or a reply on Facebook. Though they did hear my request, I'm painting positive quotes, messages in the bathroom, walls, and stalls to save many teenagers, young men and women, young children from self-esteem issues, because I got to hear it all from my kids coming back to me and telling me how other kids were feeling. It was quite sad. But I bring this up today. My son was at the lunch table at Buddy Taylor Middle School. It was mentioned from an older kid that sat at the lunch table and offered them drugs, marijuana. There was 5 boys sitting at that table, all good friends, but only 1 out of the 5 said, no, I'm not interested. And that was my son, who is now a deputy. He was the only one that said no out of those 5 kids. The other kids got kicked out of their house, the other kids got into the big drugs, and now some of them are selling it. We need to stop that. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not gonna go on for 30 more. But hey, so anyways, go to thinkpos.com. Let's get Mark to come to our school, okay? TINKPOZ.org, and I have his phone number, and I will let you all know. Thank you for listening.
The final speaker is Rebecca Bennett regarding students and parents' rights.
Good evening, board. Congratulations, because I assume you have achieved something massive during the last year and a half of education in our world, right? So my hat is off to you. As a former educator, somebody who spent a lot of time in the classroom, I do intend to go back to that classroom when my grandkids arrive. I have a 26-year-old currently serving in the military. And when you talk to boys, you have the opportunity to make a huge difference in these kids' lives. My son fights to preserve our rights to have this meeting tonight. They are being forced with a mandate that they have zero chance of avoiding. None. NJP or sent home packing dishonorably over something that is political. So you have the opportunity tonight, as a board, when you make your decisions, to uphold that First Amendment that my family, both generations back, have fought for. I am a military brat. I've lived all over the world. In the last year and a half, I have traveled, literally, all over the world. I was in Italy when they went red, over Easter. I didn't wear a mask. I'm not vaxxed. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. However, I have been told maybe I should have been a little more informed when my son was being vaxxed as a 2-year-old, because he's ADHD. As a special ed educator, I can promise you, some of the things we never took into consideration as parents, when we checked that box of vaccination to send our kids to your shed, right, have had devastating outcomes for those kids. I taught them. They were Asperger's. They were autistic. Some of them very severe, some of them high functioning. Nonetheless, most of that data that you're reading today in research are from the vaccines that they were, parents took. We did them blindly to put them into your mold as a school system. We're not doing that with this one. There's not enough education, there's not enough research, there's not enough protocol behind this to know whether or not I'm gonna be able to be a grandmother in another year. Because my son's been forced to take something and have an opportunity to have a choice about it. They were lied to, they were told they got Pfizer, they didn't. They got stabbed with Moderna. So when you think about what is choice here tonight, think about how this next generation who was JROTC, what she's headed into to provide you the opportunity to uphold my rights and my freedoms.
Public comment, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to have the virtual comment. There's no virtual comments? All right, there are no virtual comments. Board members, would you like a 2-minute recess, or would you like to begin the voting? All right, we're going to continue on. Yes, we're going to continue on meeting. I just want to know if you guys need a break. Everybody's good? All right, here we go. So this evening we have resources and supports, consent items, academic service consent items, and human resources consent items. Can I get a motion?